You're listening to the Suave Lover podcast with your hosts, Benjamin Ritter and James Amaro. SuaveLover.com, advising gentlemen on the art of romance. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy today's episode.
James, do you think the last girl that you were seeing could survive on a desert island by herself?
Well, after I abandoned her there, I never did hear from her again.
After I sold her to the local tribe.
Maybe. She might be resourceful enough. Might just possibly have been the resourceful kind and could survive on a desert island.
I think the last girl that I saw, too, could probably survive for an hour or two.
An hour or two.
I am really attracted to independence.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes in relationships, two people do not give each other enough independence.
There's a space problem sometimes. Actually, it happens kind of a lot. Where it seems like you're being close and intimate, just sharing, just talking.
Because that's what people do in relationships, right? They talk about what color shirt they're going to wear today, what they're going to eat for breakfast, what they're going to have for lunch, what their friend said to them.
What is weird is that when you get close to somebody, when you're in a good relationship with somebody, you feel suddenly very free, very unfiltered. You can juvenilize, you can become intimate, you feel like you can talk about everything, talk about anything. But just because you can talk about anything doesn't mean you should chat about nothing, talk about everything. In particular, life advice and planning and sort of the minutia of being alive, especially if you're not seeing somebody regularly, you've got some precious, scarce time. Last thing you want to do is clutter and waste that fucking time talking for the fourth time about career plans or general life philosophy. You know, if I could travel... Okay, I get it. When we were in the bar the first time, we talked about where you'd go if you could travel anywhere. But every time we get together, you talk about how you want to travel and you don't have the money to do it. No. We don't do that. That's not fun for anybody.
If you're not planning your life with someone, don't plan their life with them.
And as tempting as it is, as a guy, to troubleshoot a girl's world, get rid of her problems, show how resourceful you are, it's not attractive, it's not fun, it's not productive. You're not going to be helping her by trying to fix her life.
And on your end, too, you can tell her once or twice your career goals. Mm-hmm. It's sort of attractive, and your passions. You can't talk to her every day about the big decision you have to make at work next week.
Oh, but I need somebody to talk to.
Shouldn't be the person that you're fucking on Saturday night.
Right. Have a social network.
every other Tuesday.
Right.
Put your relationship in perspective and don't put the burdens of your life and don't let them put the burdens of their life on you, and don't let them define the relationship, because you only have a little bit of time with this person. You have as much time until you get bored of each other, because if you're not planning your life together, that's what's going to happen. Why waste it talking about things that aren't attractive?
Habit. I think the reason that we do this, and by the way, I'm tempted to do this too. I have just learned to override the temptation. The reason we just talk about the problems that we're having or the issues at work or the relationship with the girlfriend, whatever it is because we conflate having the conversation for actually bonding, for actually being intimate and close. But as a guy who is improving himself and dating and listening to podcasts like this, I challenge you. You can think of a trillion better fucking things to do with your time than to just shoot the shit about how hard it is to have a job.
How to Start a Kinky Relationship by James Amaro is the definitive guide to successful alternative romantic relationships. The book has been called 50 Shades of Grey for real people. Educational, informative, and irreverent, this book has something to offer anyone who is curious and sexually adventurous. Get your copy of How to Start a Kinky Relationship by James Amaro at Amazon.com or in select bookstores today.
The best way to avoid that is to not ask the questions in the first place.
Right.
And so if you're having a conversation with your significant other, your fuck buddy, your relationship or Mrs. Right Now.
Your wife. Whatever you want to call her.
Whatever you want to call her. Currency if you're selling her to the local tribe in the island. You are avoiding those topics. The best example is when I'm talking to someone. My problems go away because I'm with them. And this is not someone, if there's someone serious that we talk about this life shit with, like a best friend or a long-term lover, or for example, even a parent, the things that are your conversational topics are really those important topics, those important, what's going on with your job, what's your career goals, what are some issues you're having, because you're not focused in developing the attraction in those relationships.
That's right.
Those relationships are labeled and defined in a different manner. These other relationships that you have, these right now relationship or these year relationships or 6 months relationships, these part-time relationships aren't defined in the same way, and you can't define them, and you will want to because of how you treat your main relationships.
Right.
But how do you then remind yourself how to act in these relationships? Well, because what does happen if you do act that way in those relationships?
I think you start to brother-sister, you lose a lot of the attraction, but you lose the reason for getting together. You start having no particular reason. You're just hanging out, and you're not hanging out to be intimate. You're not hanging out to be romantic. You're just plain hanging out. Now, get a drinking buddy to get the stuff off your chest. That's really helpful. Get a best friend. If you're going through really bad shit, you don't got to lie about it. You don't got to suppress it, put on a brave face and pretend nothing bad's happening. Say, just so you know, there's some bad shit happening in my life, and I'll get it taken care of. God willing, she'll be the kind of girl who says much the same thing to you.
And if she isn't?
Well, then she may say a few things, but you want to, I think, establish some boundaries. And for yourself, I think the reminder is you have places. You have friends, family, coworkers. You have places to sort this shit out. But much the same way that not everyone is your fucking opportunistic therapist. You don't dump on all. Keep in mind that the person that you're seeing, that you want to be intimate with, you present a kind of version of yourself to everybody. To this person, you're going to ideally present an attractive, hopefully very resourceful, hopefully very mature and stable version of yourself. And indeed, every guy is going through something, man. It could be insecurities. It could be all of a sudden you found out you got ED. It could be a demotion at work. You're not sure what's going on. You're going to have those. I'm not saying be some kind of stoic Superman. What I'm saying is convey to your partner, your lover, your girlfriend, your significant other, convey the kind of sort of maturity and attractiveness that you would want yourself to have, and get the stuff handled, hopefully not by burdening them with the fact that you got a fucking presentation that's causing you grief and sweat. Just don't carry it over to your intimate relationship.
And they also don't know you at all. So telling them these things really has no productive meaning whatsoever.
Yeah, casual relationships, man, it's probably really good that you don't bother opening up too much in a casual relationship at all.
It's like when you pull out your phone during the day and you feel like you should text your casual relationship something other than, "Are you free tonight?" Really ask yourself, is there a reason why I'm doing this? What is the payoff? What is going to be the response? Does it really matter? Am I going to really care about their response?
The Essentials by Benjamin Ritter is your concise manual for life improvement and success with women. The Essentials has been called a straight-to-the-point lesson in the lost art of being a man. Packed with insights, this book will transform the way you think about dating and relationships. Get your copy of The Essentials by Benjamin Ritter at Amazon.com or in select bookstores today.
Your interactions with these casual relationships are supposed to be meaningful and pointed and based on the definition of your relationship. If you skew that,
by checking in.
Yeah, you're going to mess up the relationship.
Yeah.
It's like when you first start seeing someone, you date them because if it's casual, you want to see what they're like, see if they're more than casual. The majority will not be. And so you're exploring who they are and you find them attractive. And if you find out who they are, they don't really fit into who you are, your values, into a longer-term relationship, you're dating them, if you find them attractive, to sleep with them.
Yeah.
And anything to mess up the attractiveness, the sleeping with them, there's no point to it. And so when she tries to bring other things up that she would tell her best friends, you can give your advice once, and then you can make a little joke and move on to the topic and tell her, let's get this off your chest tonight and have a little bit of fun. Mm-hmm. And you just blow it off to the side, because your job when you're dating someone casually and your desire is to have fun.
Yeah. And
to have new experiences, not to talk about the shit going on in your life.
She's an autonomous person in the world. Let her be. Help her be. Be there to support in as far as you want to see her and spend time with her, but not to enable. Oh, and for fuck's sake, don't go to be a career coach. You don't go to be a life planner. Everybody likes to know that they have a support network, people that they can count on, and God bless you. So be supportive. But it's really, really easy, I think, tempting, I think, and foolish as hell to try to take on a kind of let me start your shit out for you kind of attitude with anybody. I mean, shit, even your wife
You'll never
should be able to go in and have a fucking negotiation with her own boss. You know, can't do it on her behalf.
You will never be satisfied with the outcome. There are surefire ways to make someone feel better about a situation without talking about the situation, especially in a casual relationship. When you're with them, when you're having fun with them, that's making everything better.
Yeah.
And when you stop wanting to have fun with them,
yeah,
that's great.
Yeah.
That's the end of the relationship.
Right.
You don't have any issues left to solve, and there's no leftover relationship. If you start listening to the drama and you start being a part of the drama,
in the case at least that you're not invested in the person that way, I mean,
you then are left with a relationship that you're intimately invested in but don't want to be a part of.
No, you're fucking stuck. So many relationships go sour that way.
We got to make it work because you feel like you have something more when you don't.
Yeah. Good boundaries on your part. Don't overshare. And when she wants to talk about a little bit of everything, keep it in check. Focus on the fun things that you want to do together. Focus on the attraction, the intimacy, the playfulness. And when you find that slipping, reset those boundaries. You don't got to be mean about it. You can do this very gently. You can do this very firmly, but do it. Because otherwise, before you know it, you're going to fucking hate spending time with this person. I can attest.
You have been listening to the Suave Lover podcast. Visit suavelover.com to become the kind of man that women crave.